Postpartum Support Charleston was founded in 2000 as the Ruth Roden Craven Foundation. Ruth was a young mother from Mount Pleasant who experienced postpartum depression after her son was born. 2.5 months after she delivered him, she died by suicide. I mean, suicide is scary, right? Nobody really wants to talk about that, but it's hard for me to not hear those stories and think, that could have been me. Ruth's mother and 2 of her friends started the foundation really as a way for them to understand what postpartum depression even was, and then also just to help families who were experiencing the same situation that Ruth was.
It just wasn't spoken about, and I didn't even really know much about it. I just felt the weight on me. Everything was hard. You know, I had some dark thoughts. I thought I was alone in those thoughts.
I suffered silently for a good year before I sought help. Around 14 months, Keegan and I used to drive up to see my husband working. I was driving back from the restaurant after seeing him, and I was on I-95. And I looked at the median, and I thought, this has to be the way. And I was so sad and so scared.
I remember with my full body the crippling anxiety that I was experiencing and the sadness that I was having because I couldn't breastfeed no matter what I did.
I just would pretend I got up and would get dressed and start the day, but I would immediately go back to bed.
But about 2 months postpartum, I really started to realize that there was something not right.
I thought that I would just insert this baby into my life and my life would be the same, but absolutely every single thing in your life is going to change.
I know the loneliness you're feeling, I know the tears that you're hiding, I know the guilt that you're feeling. For me, that guilt was breastfeeding.
And I struggled like depression, but at that time I was embarrassed and I was just like, okay. But I had a traumatic birth. My son's preemie. I have no idea. He had so many illnesses. Like, my husband's in the Army, so like we were completely away from family, so I was kind of like navigating things on my own.
Anyone that's struggling, anyone that thinks, oh, I have a baby, I should be happy, why, this is all I see on social media, like what's happening? It is so freaking hard, to have children and careers.
I immediately felt this pressure to get back to normal life because that's what our society says. Really, all you can do is what you can do, so you have to do what's best for you.
Luckily, the ladies at the hospital recognized the symptoms. They immediately suggested group therapy classes. A lot of the moms were able to offer tips on how to handle new mom challenges.
I was really anxious, really nervous. My daughter was really small as well, so I found myself scared to breastfeed, scared to hold her.
I actually found Postpartum Support Charleston through my own research in trying to figure out what it was that I was going through, and I went to a support group over 11 years ago now. It's really just been a full circle moment for me to be able to now give back to moms in the community. I know how hard it can get, and it's really devastating when you feel like you're the only one who's going through it. Through our programs, we're able to reach around 1,600 moms every year. That's through our meal delivery, through our peer support groups. We do a lot of one-on-one support. We are reaching a larger number of moms in our community really now than we ever have, really thanks to some of the hospitals coming through for us and really sharing about our organization. With this campaign, really what we're hoping to do is help reduce the stigma around maternal mental illness. We do have so many amazing resources, but the reality is suicide is still the #1 complication in the first year postpartum. And it's happening in our community, and we are hearing about it. It just doesn't have to be that way. And I feel really horrible for these families who have to deal with the aftermath of that and not understand, like, why did this happen and how did this happen? The education is not there. It's an illness that's treatable. It's 100% treatable.
When I learned about Postpartum Support Charleston, I knew I had to somehow be involved and support them because I had struggled. Talking to Elaine, the director, and she told me about the lasagna deliveries and how they deliver lasagnas to new moms. I thought, well, this is perfect. We're gonna do a lasagna night, make massive lasagnas, invite all these wonderful women, and, you know, just have it as like a great gathering place and night to be able to talk about something that is so common and not spoken about enough.
For me, the most important part of maternal health is connecting with other people, sharing your stories, realizing that you're not alone. And so if you are a new mom and you are going through something, if you have been a mom for a few years and you are going through something, find your people, share your story, connect with others, and you'll start to realize that we're all just kind of doing the best we can.
Let's communicate. Let's share our resources. Let's ask more from our doctors. Can they give us more information?
Normalize the messiness of motherhood. It is not clean, it is not perfect, and no one is the same.
Maternal mental health is not a broad thing. Like, yes, we may have like textbook definition of certain things, but the way we navigate it is completely different.
The worst feeling you can have is feeling like you're the only one in these dark thoughts, and like, no one should feel that way.
I want to say that it's been such a journey and such a blessing because I'm able to sit here today to speak to you all about this, and that there is hope and there is the other side of all of it.